Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, remember, way back, and I think it was April or May this year, 2023, when I was reporting on the fact that our good friend, Stallone, was going to do a sequel to one of his classic movies. No, not Rocky and not Rambo, and not like Stop or My Mum Will Shoot, or Rhinestone, or Nighthawks 2. If only. No, it was Cliffhanger. Huh? What? How? Cliffhanger from 1993, directed by Rennie Harlin. It was Die Hard on a Mountain. I love the movie. Love it. We're playing Trevor Jones's ebullient score for it right now. Full of testosterone and musical landscape and muscle, and it's gorgeous. I love it. And I love the movie. It's uber violent. It's super sweary. And you've got Papa Walton there who gets killed as well. John Lithgow chewing up the scenery. Oh my God, it is excellent. You've got, what's his name? Craig Fairbrass, Cockney, as the striker. He winds up and he delivers massive kicking blows to Michael Rooker's head. Michael Rooker, Walking Dead. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. I've said this before and I'll say it again right now. I think Michael Rooker's a great actor. But after watching Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and seeing the deeds he got up to there, I really celebrated him getting his head kicked in, big time, and beaten and abused, and having to watch all of his friends and loved ones be killed in front of him. No, Cliffhanger's great. Super exciting, super testosterone, super machismo, and Stallone owned it without a doubt. And you got the little pixie-haired. Is she half Native American? I can't remember now. She was in Northern Exposure. Janine Turner, very attractive, lovely. And the film ended with spoilers. Eric Quaglin, who's the John Lithgow guy, who's with his team of uber badass robbers. It's like Die Hard on a Mountain. These are like they're not terrorists. They're mercenaries, but they've robbed, the government's big super cachet of multi-billions of dollars, and because they destroyed the plane and all these things have gone, all these cases of money have gone flying all over the mountains, they need to find someone who knows the mountains that can get up there, like the mountain rescue team. Gabe Walker, of course, Stallone, and Tucker. Walker and Tucker. That's Michael Rooker. Rooker the Tucker. And they've got a bit of a grudge against each other because in the opening scenes of Cliffhanger, oh my God, I've discussed this movie a lot, I know I have, but just to regurgitate it for now, Sarah, the Michael Rooker character's girlfriend, has hair, tail, leg, but they're at the top of the bloody mountains. So our Uber, in one of the peak physical conditions of his life, Stallone just shimmies up the mountain like wearing little skimpy, boxer shorts and a little cut off vest, and fucks up big time because that won't hold too. The hook on the line, and she ends up hanging there, and a little teddy bear falls down the chasm, and he goes down upside down to go and try to rescue her. And Michael Rooker's going like, no, Gabe, no, it won't hold to, Gabe, no, Gabe, no. And she falls. And it's one of the greatest opening scenes ever. It really hammers home the nihilistic, and you don't know who's going to live and who's going to die. It's off the scope. You don't know. She plunges to her death, and it's horrifying. It's a really overwrought sequence, but it nails the whole title of Cliffhanger. It is a cliffhanger, And the film only builds from there with more action set pieces, explosions, fisticuffs, gunfights, helicopters, bats, ravines, caves, ice. It's a fantastic film. But it ends because Stallone and Janine Turner and Michael Rooker win the day. Kill all the bad guys, and that's it. Job done. Back in 1993, it was a big success as well. Stallone absolutely needed it after a string of really disastrous comedies, Oscar and Stop or My Mum Will Shoot, and a bit of other stuff as well. But this and Demolition Man set him right back on the path to being, the superstar that he is, and that we know and love. So it was a big success, but the film ended. So it was a bit of a surprise way back in, I say it was April or May, I can't remember now which month it was, that he announced, we're doing Cliffhanger 2. Cliffhanger 2, Cliffhanger. Die Hard 2, Die Harder. Cliffhanger. And I think, where the hell are you going to go with that? Well, he's brought Rocky back in with Rocky Balboa and then the Creed movies, where he takes a bit of a backseat, but he's a mentor character. But Rocky's still there. And of course, he brought Rambo back. Rambo 4 was awesome. Rambo Last Blood was considerably less than awesome. In fact, it's a detestable, lamentable movie and a really pathetic, horrible swan song to a great, iconic character. So, but Stallone's not getting any younger, and he's getting more ogreish the older he gets. But he had his big family show. What was it? The Stallone Family Show. At Home with the Stallones. I don't know what it was called. And he had Tulsa King. Big success there as well. The Samaritan, which I actually reviewed that. And it's flawed big time, but I quite enjoyed it. So I still like seeing Stallone on the big screen. And so clearly he was thinking look, well, what can I do now? The Predator idea, where he was going to take on a big sort of military laboratory experimental war machine, which turns out to be a kind of werewolf, which he has to go and hunt in the Alaskan wastes. Oh God, I would love that. It was meant to be a Rambo movie. Well, the only guy we can get to catch this thing would be Rambo. But that's been on the cards for many, many years now. Hunter, I think it was called, and then all the other titles. And it doesn't appear to be happening anytime soon. And he's not getting any younger, as we know. So he's now at that point where they revisit all their old stuff. Well, what else can I do? You had Expendables 4, and I reviewed it, and I'm a massive fan of the Expendables franchise. One of the few fans, but Expendables 4, I can't give any points towards. I love Jason Statham, and he owns that movie, but the film is a pile of shite. I reviewed it, I discussed it, spoiler rife, and I laid down the law as to why it is a complete pile of turd. But Stallone had the good sense to look, I want nothing to do with this. I'll lend my name to it, I'll be producing it, but I'm going to bow out early and come in only at the end. But it's the end as far as I'm concerned, and quite rightly so. So what else are you going to do then? So he revisits Cliffhanger. And as I say, the film it was a great movie, and it told its own enclosed story. Where are you going to go after it? Well, I'll tell you. Now, first of all, let's just recap on what was happening way back when I first mentioned this. The director attached to it then was Rick Roman. Wow. It's spelled W-A-U-G-H, but I'm sure it's pronounced wow. And he'd done Angel Has Fallen, which I wasn't a big fan of. I'm a massive fan of the Mike Banning movies, Olympus Has Fallen and London Has Fallen, I absolutely revere as action movies. They are fan-fucking-tastic. But Angel Has Fallen, I thought, was a real damp squib. There was too much comedy, and the whole, Nick Nolte is his father. It was, where you going with it? It was watered down. It just didn't have the oomph and the aggression that you wanted. And yet it's actually a bigger story, well, a more personal story. But anyway, I didn't like it. What else did he do? He did, Greenland. Yeah, which actually is a bit of a surprise one, that. I actually enjoyed the hell out of that. That was so not what I expected, and I really got a kick out of it. I don't revisit it, but I did enjoy it at the time. Now, this guy, what's his name again? Rick Roman. Wow. If you look at interviews with him, they're mainly text. I've not seen any actual video interviews with him. Wow. Well, again, Rick Roman. Wow. This guy was so fucking gung-ho for Cliffhanger 2. But sadly, he did something rather stupid, because if you read the interviews with him, he really laboured on the point of like, well, we're going to use technology. We're going to put you on the mountain. You're not just going to feel the mountain. You're going to hear the wind. We're going to use technology. That's great. That's great. We're going to use state of the art. We're going to push the envelope. We're going to move up another league, another level. But he kept on citing another movie, which had just come out and was a massive, massive success. Top Gun Maverick. And if you look at his interviews, he drops that title every sentence. We've got the effect. We're going to have the effect like Top Gun Maverick. We've even got the writer, they did at the time, of Top Gun Maverick. We're going to, like they put you in the cockpit of these fighter planes flying down canyons and ravines, and like Top Gun Maverick. Well, we're going to put you on the side of a mountain, but like Top Gun Maverick. Oh my God. He laboured the point, and I think Stallone got pissed off with him. We all know Stallone owns his movies. Look at Cobra, look at Rambo 3, look at Tango and Cash. He takes over the movies, and when he starts when he's redirecting, because Stallone was a great director. Look at Rocky. He wrote it, directed it, produced it, starred in it. Oscars! You can't knock that guy for what he achieved there. And of course, he's done many similar things throughout. So he knows the industry, he knows what he wants to do. But he can be an absolute curmudgeon to work with. If you've got another director on board, he will happily pull the reins from them and take over the show and have fun doing it. So I've got a feeling that, I don't think, because this is what we're coming to. Wow, Rick Roman, has gone. He's gone. This news broke, as far as I was concerned, yesterday. I only read about it yesterday, so it's still news to me, and hopefully news to you guys as well. But he's gone. So all of this Top Gun Maverick, we're going to utilise the best sound system. You're going to hear the wind whistling on. You're going to get tinnitus. You're going to get frostbite. You're going to feel your thumbs on the edge of literally not even 3 millimeters of a little ledge you're hanging onto. You're going to feel that, and the ice cold wind and all. That's what he was bigging the movie up. But the very fact that he kept on referencing Top Gun Maverick, if that was just in an interview, or several interviews, which he kept hammering this home, then I think Stallone's gone like, nah, look, you're setting a benchmark there. Well, Cliffhanger was its own benchmark, its own high cliff mark. So why do we need this? We're not flying fucking jets. We're just going to be climbing mountains and fighting bad guys with explosions and death-defying stunts. That's what we're going to do. So stop mentioning this movie with Tom Cruise. Stop mentioning it. I could be wrong, but it does seem you laboured that, and now you're gone. So he's gone. So who's in? Let me refer to my notes. Jean-Francois Richet. And he did Plane with Gerard Butler. Gerard Butler's movies have been mentioned quite a bit, in this already. And but Plane was anything but plain, if you know what I mean. I reviewed that movie when it first came out, and I had a great time with it. I didn't really expect to, because it's just, it's nasty. The plane is stuck on a horrible island full of bastards, guerrillas and terrorists who are going to behead people and skin them alive and all that kind of crap. And the pilot of the plane, Gerard Butler, with a criminal on board as well. The two of them have to join forces and save the day. And save as many I want to get my passengers back, And you know what? I had a great time with it. So this guy directed that. He directed a few other French, oh God, I forgot what they're called. There's a part 1 and part 2 to them. I can't remember what they are now. But the guy's got some good action chops and a good bit of, he can direct suspense and tension. Great. Right, so he's directing a movie now. There's no other cast members known other than Stallone. So Stallone is playing Gabe Walker again. It's not a reboot, it is a sequel. It is a sequel to that first movie. So set many years later, and obviously Gabe Walker is meant to be Stallone's age. He's an older guy now. He's a guy in his 70s. But probably still super fit. And this is what I find quite intriguing. Although you can work out why this is, and it's budget reasons. The first movie was meant to be in the Colorado Rockies, but they filmed 99% of it in the Italian Dolomites. And now they're filming it. It's set in the Dolomites. It's not actually meant to be in the Rockies in Colorado. It's actually meant to be in the Dolomites in Italy. And Stallone and his daughter have a mountain tour guide business. They have alpine lodges and all that, and they have high-paying celebrity guests and all that. And they take them on tours and mountaineering classes and that sort of stuff. And but I find it kind of weird that now, okay, we filmed it there, but it was set in America. But now we're gonna set it where we filmed it first time, because it makes sense. It'll look the same. Although, and this is a bit of a puzzling thing for me. This movie is a German-British co-production. Yeah, you heard me right there. That's what's been reported. It's a German-British co-production. Already alarm bells begin to ring there, because where's the big money coming from then? It's a German. They haven't got any money. Britain. We've got no money. So where's the cash coming from? And I've heard that they film in Munich and Bavaria. Where are these bloody big mountains then? Well, they are filming in the Dolomites. So anyway, he's got a daughter, right? And he has, and they're not giving you too much here, but they're giving perhaps some shit, because it must be his daughter's fella, and they've classed it in some of the interviews and write-ups that it's Gabe Walker's surrogate son. So for that, I'd read son-in-law, or it's the boyfriend of his daughter, and he will come a cropper early on. Oh, and then his daughter and him must come to terms throughout the course of the movie with the trauma and the upset and the horror of what happened. Well, is that not what happened at the start of Cliffhanger, when Sarah takes that well, I would say death-defying, but she doesn't defy death. Death claims her. When she takes that plunge, it's just the same thing again. And he and Michael Rooker have to come to terms, like they hate each other, but they've got to like bond together to fight the bastards, the bad guys, and then become friends again. So there's going to be some kind of horrible accidents. Something's going to happen at the start of this movie where this guy either gets crippled, ends up on life support, or he dies. But the way that it's worded, that they've got to come to terms with the trauma of the loss. It's what it says. So, he must die. So it's the same old thing. Oh, and just to maximise on that, Stallone, Gabe Walker, and a high-profile, high-paying client get held hostage by a bunch of bad guys up in the mountains. And his daughter must use all her skills, cunning, ingenuity, strength to try to win back, save her dad and his clients, and take on the bad guys. So it's the exact same fucking story as what we had before, only it's a girl doing it. I mean, Stallone's quite clearly realised, look, there's no way I can do this now. I can't hang off a cliff anymore. I'm just, I weigh 40 stone now, and I can't do it. And I've lost the ability to do a Stallone accent, a Stallone voice, massively there, didn't I? But I've been drinking, so you're Adrian. No, fuck it, who cares? But Stallone can't do it now. It would not look convincing. But I guarantee he will be doing some kind of fight scenes and action scenes. It will happen. But his daughter is the one who's going to be doing all of this. And already I know there's a whole platoon of you guys out there going like, whoa! It's a girl doing it now. Well, I actually don't have a problem with that aspect. But I've got a problem with thinking, like, who's going to play this girl? I'm going to remember Stallone did a lot of his stunts for Cliffhanger. A lot of fledgling CG was used in it, but there were some great shots there, and he was climbing those mountains. Okay, he wasn't like, what's his name? Tom Cruise, little scurrying, little running guy. He's not running, he's flying in Top Gun Maverick. And he was doing all his own stunts for Mission Impossible movies and stuff like that. But Stallone did a hell of a lot. And Stallone's a very gung-ho action sort of guy. But he can't do that shit now. He knows it. So you're now going to shift it onto his daughter. What girl's going to play that role? In case you're thinking, oh, Kilt-Man's got a little list of women. No, I haven't. I didn't even think to do a list. I've got no idea who could play that. Who could be? Stallone's used like women kickboxers and fighters and stuff in movies before, and he's like Ronda Rousey and all that. It wouldn't be her. She's not a good actress. So I can't see that taking place. So you've got to find someone who can do the stunts, and be convincing enough to do the stunts, climbing up mountains, hanging off, sheer edges, battling bad guys. I don't know how many bad guys there are. I don't even know who the bad guys are and why they're doing what they're doing. That's not been mentioned. But obviously, you've got to have a contingent of these bastards who've got to be taken down one by one. You've got to follow on from Cliffhanger. Cliffhanger is very, very violent. It's bloody. It's gory. It's uber nasty, and they're verbally nasty as well. It's a really hard-faced cunt-ass bitch of a movie. So follow on from that. You can't water that down. You can't sanitize it. So you'd have to keep that level of the grudge. You want to see the bad guys have got to do a lot of nasty things, which is doing the first movie, to warrant nasty deaths. Is when I kill me a mountain man. It always amazes me when a man will put money before his bitch. But the first one is fantastic. This, it's got, I'll be honest, it's got failure written all over it. It has. This could come, cascading down, the ravine and just crash and break on the rocks below. It could. I don't want it to. I want it to be successful. I love Cliffhanger. I just find it hard to imagine that you're going to do a sequel to it. I think it was I'm not sure which director it was that said, look, but it might have been the first guy. He said, we are not doing a reboot. We are doing a sequel. It was the first guy, the wow guy. This is a hard, fast sequel, and Gabe's back and all that. Like, I wondered if Janine Turner's going to come back. If Michael Rooker's going to come back. To be honest, that would be great. But they have set it in a different country. Oh, this is what I was going to say. A German, British co-production. That just smacks of absolute stagnant money. There's no cash involved in this. And they've shot in Munich and Bavaria. Why? The entire first movie is set in the Dolomites. It's all mountains. All mountains. So you're going to have like little cheapskate meetings in little beer kellers, and stuff like that. I don't know. It just doesn't work. I don't know. Look, this is going ahead. This starts shooting summertime next year. Summertime 2024. So it's going ahead. Stallone will be even older then. A million things could happen to him. I think isn't there another season of Tulsa King going to come out? So that may have got in the way of a sort of shooting schedule, perhaps, which has sort of delayed it somewhat. But I talked recently about the Wolfman reboot, reimagining, and Ryan Gosling was the guy playing the Wolfman. Gone, and the director was brought on, gone, but the original director's been brought back in, and a different guy is now playing the Wolf. Well, whether he's playing the Wolfman or not, he's the leading man, and Gosling is gone. He's just an executive producer on the movie now. And as I said in that video, when this happens and it gets made public that, all right, we've changed this director, that's a big thing. That guy's out, this guy's in. It cannot do anything but, sort of pull the rug from under your confidence in a project. You can't, something's gone wrong there on a fundamental level. And with a Stallone project, I would pretty much say that Stallone's been the guy that's ousted the first director. I've got no grounds for that, other than what I know from previous productions he's been involved in and how he's acted and been with the people behind the scenes. So, but I could be wrong. I still love you, Sly. I still love you. But he will not be doing much in this. He won't be. There's no way on earth you're going to see him in a little skimpy cut off, vest, hanging off a precipice, doing the human fly leap. It's just not going to happen, is it? But who's the girl then? Who's going to be the daughter? Don't know. And is it the daughter of him and Janine Turner's character? She was the pilot for the mountain rescue team. Is it going to be that? Because no other cast members have been mentioned at the time of this recording. There's no other cast members. It's just Sylvester Stallone. And wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great to bring back Trevor Jones, the composer of Cliffhanger, the composer of Last of the Mohicans, which I know before you all say the main theme sounds just like Last of the Mohicans, which he did. Well, it kind of does. And then it goes off on its own sort of, big, swooping, lyrical, mountainscape, romanticism, adventurous score of its own. But he's not really doing Hollywood stuff at the moment. It hasn't done for a while. But it'd be great to get him back and to have some of this scoring in there again. But would be wonderful. It ain't gonna happen, folks. Cliffhanger 2, Cliffhangerer. God, I so don't know. I so want to be. Look, I'm smiling because I love Cliffhanger and just up the mountains and like firing through the ice and all that, like, and punching through icicles to get up there, like, just in a vest, frozen. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. Bunch of bad guys who are complete and utter twats. Even the girl, you should see me bake a cake, you know, like Crystal, her name was, like, and then bloody, what's his face, John Lithgow, kills her as well, like, he's, well, Tucker and Walker. With his staunch British accent, because this was the era of Brits were always the bad guys. Alan Rickman, usually. Die Hard, obviously, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, and Quickly Down Under. I've reviewed all these movies, I think. And so he was affecting a British accent there. Because we're just, you know, Brits are bad, you know. And you'll find out just how bad because we've got no money, so there'll be no budget for this fucking movie. It's a German-British co-production. How did that come about? Stallone didn't stop there though, and I mentioned this in the previous video as well. He also wanted to do a sequel to Demolition Man. Again, just stop me if I'm wrong here. That's an open and shut case. That story moved through time and told its story, and everything ended in a sort of like paradise. Everything's great, hey, murder, death, kill, you know, happy, joy, and all. And you know, the shells. How do you use the shells to wipe your ass? Who knows? It was perfect. It's funny as well. The thing I love about Demolition Man is it's genuinely funny, and Stallone has that. Stallone can be really, really funny, and there's some great timing in that. Obviously, Simon Phoenix is great as a bad guy. So OTT. You know. What's his name? Like John Spartan? Is that you? Got to let anyone in this century. But Stallone walks into his Demolition Man walks into his apartment, and it's all voice controlled, and it's split level. And he's in like a kimono or whatever, which he doesn't like anyway. And he falls over and just goes, lights. The lights come on, he's like, I've been tripped over. But where'd you go with that? It's just old guys raking up, you know, their former glories. He'd done this with Rocky, and it worked. He'd done it with Rambo, and it worked to a degree. And then he pushed it too far and fucked it all up. But with Rocky, he passed the baton on, didn't he? He passed the gloves on with Creed. And they kind of feel fitting for Rocky with the whole journey, the lifelong odyssey he's been on. So I get that. It does kind of work. But to recycle these heroes who had their adventure and their great classic movies, and then to resurrect them, it does kind of feel a bit, you know, you're desperate, aren't you? You're so desperate to bring back these past, you know, glorious moments, these bastions, these shining high points of action cinema, to do it all over again. When you know that you're not going to be able to do it because you're just not, well, you can't, can you? You know, he's broken pretty much every bone in his body, and so he's a physical wreck. There's no way you can get into shape for this. But I can believe him as the old guy who's like running this lodge and a mountaineering class and taking out, you know, highfalutin clients. I can understand that. That kind of makes sense. So if he takes a sort of a back seat, him and the client gets held hostage. by a bunch of nefarious swine. But his daughter has to go and do all the action. It's coming apart already, isn't it? Just in saying that, even I'm thinking, oh, this ain't going to work. Hopefully it does. Hopefully it does. But it won't be a patch on what we've seen before. Cliffhanger's amazing. But clearly it's going to start off with a traumatic moment, which is going to recapture or try to recapture the ordeal that we all went through when Sarah slips. You're not gonna die. Gabe, don't let go of me. You're not gonna die. Gabe was wrong. She dies. Badly as well. Anyway, folks, let me know what you think about this, because it's going ahead. You're going to get this. I think they start shooting summertime 2024, so it won't even be coming out until 2025. So, because I presume there'll be enormous amounts of CG to put Stallone's now ragged fat ass on the side of a fucking cliff and hang him there. I don't know. Cheers, y'all. Cheers, Sly, the human fly. I wish success. Hope for the best, prepare for the worst. He's at that. It's the dovetail now of his career, isn't it? If he was writing stuff and directing stuff, it might be a different story. Could be some great things to come. But as an action star, no, it's pretty much over. There you go. So, Cliffhanger 2, Cliffhangerer. Let me know what you think. It's coming, folks. It's going to happen. Or will we have another change of director? Because if that happens between now and summertime and the shooting begins, it's the death knell. You can't keep doing this, chopping and changing stuff like. And with that guy, the first guy, wow, who was so OTT, this is going to blow you away, because it's going to be like Top Gun Maverick on a mountainside. We've got Stallone, but it's going to be like Top Gun Maverick. We've got the guy who wrote Top Gun Maverick. Our sound design will be like Top Gun Oh! Shut up! Make your own fucking movie. And clearly he couldn't. So he's out. Folks, I have been always shall be Kilt-Man. So please, in the meantime, in this ever cliffhanging in between time, please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic. I am going to see you all. Mountain rescue helicopters. I still love Sly though. I do. But I love Ridley Scott. But Ridley Scott, you've gone too far. Ridley, stop. Stop making movies. You've got about another 5 movies slated. You're 99 years old. Would you just fucking stop? Because they've all been shit, the last few movies you've made. So stop making films. Just retire. Retire gracefully, you curmudgeonly old swine. Anyway. Laters.